Welcome to the Rolling Out Boundless Brothers virtual conference where there's no limit to being a Black man. I'm Marcellus, and our topic, our dynamic discussion today is raising your child to become a Black CEO millionaire. We have two incredible, successful, wealthy, and amazing guests with us today. Dr. Sean J. Harris, a U.S. Air Force veteran, serial entrepreneur, expert in aerospace, real estate, as well as an author. And we also have his Boundless, charming, award-winning author, speaker, money teaching, I heard owner of a 54-seat bus that we're going to get into, but 11-year-old son, CEO Caden Harris. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you all here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
I'm very excited. I talked to a lot of CEOs and many entrepreneurs, but Caden, I got goosebumps when I woke up today knowing that I was going to be able to connect with you and your dad. So thank you so much for being here. Dr. Harris, you've done something very amazing with your son. And if you could just introduce the Rolling Out world to Caden and the amazing business that he runs.
Absolutely. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My great aunt and uncle actually owned the first two hotels, Black-owned hotels here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Auburn Avenue district, right before the pre-civil rights era. And my aunt and uncle also owned the only, at that time, Black taxi service. So entrepreneurship goes very far back in our roots. Both my parents owned companies growing up. So I had the example of entrepreneurship growing up. So when Caden came along, apples don't fall far from the tree. So, we would just kind of take him along to business meetings, et cetera, like that. But Caden is the owner of Caden Teaches, which is a financial literacy company where he teaches other kids and young adults about financial literacy, how to budget money, finance, and he's getting into the investing aspect of teaching kids about investing as well.
Wow, Caden. So, Dr. Harris, this is a third generational entrepreneurship legacy. Fourth. Okay.
Yeah, fourth generation.
Awesome. That is something else. Caden, CEO. Tell me, what's the best part about being a CEO?
I would say the best part of being a CEO is that I get to be my own boss and inspire people, and one day I'll be able to employ people.
All right, man. I love it. But you have employed yourself, and you have the autonomy and building financial freedom as well. And you have three generations before you to use as a great blueprint for us. So that's amazing. What grade are you in?
I'm in the 6th grade.
6th grade, man. Is it harder?
Yeah, it's a little more challenging than the 5th.
Okay, but nothing that an entrepreneur can't handle, because every day you're solving for problems that other people have, and when you provide those opportunities and products and services, you're making the world better. But you're overcoming challenges to do that. So that's something else. What is your favorite subject?
I would say my favorite subject is math, because I like to learn numbers and how to deal with my money.
Yes, that math and money go hand in hand. That's the M&M. That tastes really good. That's the real treat. So if you're already a CEO now, you're living the life of a grown-up, but what would you want to be once you grow up?
I would say I would want to continue being a business owner, speaker, and author, and own even more companies, and maybe even a tech company.
All right, so we're gonna compete with the Teslas and the Amazons and the Apples. Okay, I'm looking for that cadentech.com. I want that electric vehicle, man, when you drop it. It may be an electrical vehicle bus, huh?
Yeah.
Man, this is our exciting times. And Caden, you're living in a very special time period where I even read a stat that there's 1,700 millionaires produced a day. And you look like you're very much on that list as well. So that is amazing. Ask you another question, Caden. What's the greatest lesson that you've learned from your right hand board of director right beside you, your dad and your mom as well? What's the greatest lesson you've learned about money and business from them?
I would say the biggest lesson I've learned from them is that there will always be negative people in life. For example, one day there was a career day at my school, and a lady came to our school and she asked everyone what did they want to be when they grew up. And I said that I wanted to continue being a speaker, author, and CEO. And she said, that's not a real career. And I said, yes, it is. And she said, no, it's not. And I'm not going to argue with you. And right after that, she asked another boy next to me, what did he want to do when he grew up? And he said that he wanted to be a rapper. And she thought that it was the most amazing idea. And
Really?
And a week after that, I went to a pitch competition and I won $25,000 speaking.
Whoa. Wow. And that is more than a lot of rappers that we know or even heard of or who are trying to do it are getting paid, to do. So that's how you show and prove. A week later, you showed her what an entrepreneur looks like. You show her what somebody who is capable of speaking and taking those English classes and everything else to actually use it and make the most of an opportunity, which is what you did. And you got 25K to do it, man. What did you do with that 25,000, man?
I invested it into my products, and I decided to save some of it and invest it into a bunch of new products that I had coming out as well.
Man, now you know what? I hear a lot of rappers, they talk about doing certain things, but what you just described to me is you were flipping that. I hear them talking about flipping, but you were flipping money and you were making it do all types of tumbles, taking that, and that's the mindset. So Dr. Harris, I know you're incredibly proud. I know your cheekbones got to be some of the heaviest muscles, man, in the world. Tell us your story and just how you became inspired to just create such an awesome early start to financial independence for Caden.
Yeah, I'm the proverbial. You hear from our parents: go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and everything will be happily ever after. I remember when I was in the 11th grade, I get the proverbial talk also about you have three choices when you leave school. You're going to either go to college, get a job, or go to the military. So I didn't want to be told what to do, so I didn't get a job right after. Didn't want to go to school right away. So I went to the United States Air Force, where they still kind of told me what to do. But I had a background in aerospace propulsion and aeronautics, but I always knew, Marcellus, that I wanted to come back and be an entrepreneur. So the biggest thing to me was freedom. I remember being in the 4th grade, looking out of the window in my classroom, and I just remember seeing cars going up and down the street. And to me, I would just think, at any given time, this person could be going to McDonald's. That was my hot button back then, was McDonald's. So it wasn't the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur for the money, really, at that point. It wasn't to say that I was the boss. It was just to be able to have the freedom. And I knew at a very early age that is what was going to be important to me. So I did get out of the military, started subsequent companies thereafter, and just kept building from there. And I knew that that was going to be the basis for my freedom. I knew that I had to be the architect of my future. So in doing so, I started a couple real estate companies while I was still working my 9 to 5. And that was the important thing. A lot of people think that you just jump out and start a business, but I was still at my 9 to 5, and I used that 9 to 5 as my number one capital investor. And the reason why I say that is like, you're getting paid, we can take that money and do any other thing with it. But as you said, I flipped that money. I put that money back into myself. I was reinvesting. I was reading books, investing in courses, getting mentorship. So I was able to burn the candle on both ends. So that one day when the 9 to 5 kind of worked that last nerve, I was able to blow that one end of the candle out. And that's when I had total freedom and could call the shots, because that was the biggest thing for me, is I wanted to be able to do what I wanted, whenever I wanted to, with whomever I wanted to at any given time. So that was the inception of my entrepreneurial pursuits.
Wow. That is a journey. And it's a journey that so many are able to relate to, because many work those jobs and have a vision, and that career or job may not be fulfilling that vision. And part of what that special word that you have on your chest, entrepreneur, that speaks to having a vision and being able to make it a reality, and being able to put those things in place to pursue what you've mentioned as independence, financial freedom. And that there, and when you were speaking about, the typical, message that we're sent of go to school, get a good job, everything works out until it doesn't. But that kind of relates to the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a book that a lot of entrepreneurs kind of start off with. And there, that financial freedom was kind of, described as being able to live the lifestyle, create a lifestyle that you want without it having to be aligned to your time and your energy to do it. And that means at some point you have to create these assets that are able to earn more than your expenses. And once you have that, then that's financial freedom, because you don't have to allocate your time, in that 9 to 5, or the energy, of what you have to do during that. And now that frees you up in a way that many people don't experience until they enter the realm that you all are succeeding in, which is entrepreneurship. So that is everything. You speak of the financial independence and the wealth. What are the keys to creating that? Because there's a foundation that you've been able to provide for Caden. So what are the keys to creating that and then teaching that to your son? So well that he teaches it to others.
Exactly. Yeah, the number one thing is that we just lay a good foundation. We ensure that they read a lot. My dad, when I was growing up, he would always tell us, when we got our allowance for chores, he said, hey, look, you guys are supposed to do chores anyway. In order for you to continue getting chores, I want you to start writing an essay. So because of that, I started honing in on my writing skills. And then I could start really figuring out who I was. So some of the things we do for Caden and Kennedy, his sister, is laying out a foundation of reading. We teach them financial responsibility. The best way to teach about finances is to give them responsibilities. When they go to the bank, Caden knows I'm just simply his Uber driver when it's time to go to the bank. He goes inside, he knows what to do, he knows the account number, how to fill out slips, how to make withdrawals, you name it. He goes in top to bottom as far as handling his banking. So we put them in positions where they make their own purchases, make transactions. So that's going to be key to teaching them the intricate details of finances and how to handle financial transactions. And again, it's like you have to put them in real world applications. So many times, growing up in our generations, we would learn children are to be seen and not heard. And I think that is the biggest detriment, particularly to our community, by doing that. One thing I always say with the kids is, if you treat a kid like a kid, you're going to get kid-like behavior. If you treat a kid like an adult, you'll get adult-like behavior while still maintaining the kid. So like Caden and Sister Kennedy, they have so much fun. They still operate as children. They are children, but the mindset, we have to grow the mindset quite a bit. And you do that through exposure. We want them to be comfortable talking to adults, because think about it. When you and I were kids, Marcellus, we were always told, don't talk to strangers. Don't get in a car with that stranger. But at no point were we ever told it's okay to talk to strangers. It's okay to say hello and introduce yourself and start networking. We jump in cars with strangers all the time now. It's called Uber and Lyft. See, so we were never unprogrammed. So one of the key things is let's program the right way the first time so that we don't have to go back and unprogram to reprogram. So kind of look at my past, look at my descendants before, take different things that we can learn from and apply and put it into this generation to speed up the learning curve. So when Caden is, 14, 15, I expect him to be well beyond where I am now at nearly 50. So those are the foundations that we're putting in place. It's like I'm throwing the bricks out ahead before he steps, like going through the minefield. I've already gone through the mine. So I can say, hey, Caden, step right here, don't step here, leap here, and that'll help speed up his learning curve much faster.
That is everything. You talk about throwing the bricks out there. They feel like alley-oops being thrown to a young LeBron in the form of Caden that's dunking them, but dunking it in the form of entrepreneurship and just pursuing financial independence. So that's amazing. Caden, when you were telling me about that story at the career, was it a career fair?
It was a career day at my school.
Career day. Okay. Yeah. I remember I was probably a little younger than you, and we had a similar day. And I had an experience being from the South Side of Chicago, but because of that, I told my teacher I wanted to be a mortician. And that's someone who actually helps to prepare bodies of those who have passed away for their burials and services. And I got a similar reaction. They told my parents, hey, we think something may be going on with your son. But I saw certain things in my community that I was concerned about, young people passing away, and even when family and relatives did. So there was a conversation that I didn't go down that career path. But all to say that, to what you were saying, Dr. Harris, we really have to be in tune with our children and being able to speak to them as if they're adults, and be able to. And the beautiful thing about young people, we're born relentless. And then you use the word called program conditioned. We're conditioned to relent, conditioned to say, okay, my teacher said I'm not that good at this, or it's too crazy to do that. And a lot of times that can pull one off track from a boundless opportunity in entrepreneurship, because it can't exist yet for it to be that next groundbreaking idea. Nobody has been to Mars yet as a human. That's why, Tesla and SpaceX is one of the most valued, entities in the world, because they're going to uncharted territory and they're trying to reach the unreachable, make the impossible at some point inevitable. And talking about something that most people think is impossible, Caden, you are now the owner of a 54-seat passenger bus that I heard you will be going around the country and creating these hot spots where you're able to do your financial teaching. So what is that like, man?
I love that I'm in the process of creating my financial bus, because it will be an easier way to teach a lot more kids about financial literacy, and it will teach kids how to earn, save, budget, and invest money in fun and interactive ways. For example, one section of the bus will have a mock grocery store, and it'll teach kids how to have a family budget and how to budget their money. And another section will have a mock bank, where it will teach kids how to deposit and withdraw money. And it'll also teach them how to write a check and much more.
Wait, Caden. Let me. So you just took me out of 2020, and now I'm somewhere in the future, and I don't have to go to the grocery store where I have to drive, and then I get there, and there's just a grocery store, and I have to get my groceries. I actually don't even have to make an order online and wait for it, a day or two. You're telling me I can go outside and I might see Caden in this big old bus that I can go on, and then I'm actually able to have a grocery store experience to learn about how to use money and how to budget.
Yeah,
Word. Now this grocery part, this big old bus I'm envisioning. What color is this bus?
it's gonna be a green bus with my logos all over it.
And would that green possibly reflect some money too?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're keeping it green. And I get there, and let's say I'm a kid. I'm a kid, and I have, I'm learning how to spend my money. So how should I, what should I be thinking about if I'm going to learn how to budget?
With budgeting, you should have a list of what you need and how much everything will cost to be able to make the budget.
Wow. So for this is, you're not only talking to kids at this point, you're talking to a lot of adults who are watching. I want everybody to think about the last time they went into the grocery store. Caden says that we should go in there with a list, and there should be a certain amount of things. We have the cost of it, and then we should go and we should just spend what we're expecting to buy. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I shouldn't come into a grocery store and get all excited when I see the soda over there, then I see the Snicker bars over there, and I see some Ruffles, new chips over there, and I see all these extra things. I can't just turn up in the grocery store.
No.
Okay. And I probably should keep that same mindset when I go to the mall too. I don't need to just be going to Foot Locker and everywhere else and just spending money just because I have it. I should have a budget.
Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. So let me ask this. If I go inside of your bus, and now you have a bank in there?
Yep, a mock bank that will teach kids how to earn, save, budget, and invest money.
Wow. So this is Caden Bank of America, Caden Bank of the Universe. What type of bank is this?
We haven't come up with the name for it, but we do know what the concept of it will be.
Man, that is amazing. So after I get off of this Caden Teaches bus experience where I learn how to budget, and I think that's so important because before you make money, most of us have an ability to get money. For some kids, it may be an allowance. Maybe you get money for your birthday. Even anyone, finds a way to get a couple of bucks some sort of way. But it's what do you do with that? And I think, there may be a kid that can get their hands on $5 and they could go spend that $5 on some Skittles. They probably didn't have to do it because Halloween was not too long ago. So they probably got some free candy, but they could just spend it, but then that money is gone. Or they could maybe try to buy a Pokemon card or a basketball card. But somebody could say, and you shared a word with me before, you shared a word called debt. And sometimes, even as a kid, you learn about that because you see something that you want. So I might want that Pokemon card, but if it's $20, they may say, you know what, I got you at $5. They say, give me that, here go the card, pay me back later. But if I don't come up with that, then I'm in trouble and I'm in debt. But a smarter thing when you are able to budget, and as an entrepreneur, you're budgeting around in business, I could take that $5 and say, well, let me go in this Caden grocery store and buy some candy. He's got a Sam's Club, but it's Caden's Club. And I can get maybe candy that I can sell for $20 that I only have to pay for $5. So that there seems like I can take that money, a budget, I'm able to invest, and then I'm able to get that flip the way that you flip that 25K. But it can start with $5 for a kid, huh?
Yeah.
Man, and this is what you teach. You teach these types of lessons, huh? And you have products. Tell me about these products when I go to cadenteaches.com that we're going to drop in a link.
Well, some of my products include my my activity book, which teaches kids how to earn, save, budget, and invest money. And I
Wow.
also have my financial flashcards that will teach kids different financial banking terms. And my newest project that I've been working on is my puzzle here.
Whoa, jigsaw, man. I love those. Wow. Have you put one together yet?
Yeah,
How long did it take you?
it took me about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow, that is very fast for a jigsaw, man. You got some super genius skills you working with there, putting things together, man. Wow. What does the picture look like when you put it together? What's the puzzle end up being?
It ends up being, it has, it shows, it has some questions on there, and it also has a money background and has a different cool, it has a bunch of different cool logos on it.
Wow, wow, that's dope, man. And when I went on your site, what caught me, I was like, oh, there is a bundle that you have. It's a Cadence Financial Toolbox bundle. So I can get the Cadence Rich Kid Guide, the financial flashcards that you talked about. Um, bro, I see there's a fragrance in there. You got your own cologne, bro? What's going on?
Yep,
you got
I have my very own gender neutral fragrance named
okay.
Plenitude.
Wow, man, plenitude. Okay, so I'm smelling good. I'm learning. I know how to, I know all the terms that I need to be able to pursue financial independence. Then you have a downloadable learning packet. You got a calculator to add all that money up. And you also have your rich kid pencil in there too, as well as a notepad. So that's the bundle that I'm getting. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Cadence
And
Financial.
and this is it here. My financial
Wow.
toolbox.
And that's you on there, right?
Yep. And my
Okay.
flashcards are also included in it. And these are an example of the flashcards. It has the word and the definition on the back. For example, that one's asset, and it has the definition on the back. We have liability
Love
and
it.
ROI. Return
ROI. And what is ROI? What does that card say it is?
It's a return on investment. It's your return on investment and purchasing something or investing in something.
Man, I love it, man. So let me ask you this. Dr. Harris, if there's a ROI, quick question for you all. What would you what is his goal ROI for different products that he may have? And how do you even teach that to a young person?
Gotcha. Return on investment. Basically, let's say, for example, if a kid is selling, let's just say calculators for an example. Well, if they go to the dollar store and get like a dollar calculator, but they turn around and sell it for $5, the difference between the wholesale price being a dollar and the sales price or the retail price at $5 would be $4. So their immediate gross profit would be $4. So now if they take that same $4 and go back to the dollar store, pick up 4 more calculators and now sell them for $5, that's $20. And then we're gonna subtract our initial $4 investment. So the ROI again will be $16. And you just keep doing that over and over and over. One of the things too with that, Marcel, is that I teach some clients that say, well, Sean, I don't have a lot of money to get started to invest. I give a simple thing that I did maybe 16 years ago. I had a buddy of mine, he said, Sean, how much money you got in your pocket right this second? Reached the pocket, said, man, I think I got like $100 bill here. He said, let's go make some money. I was like, okay. So he took me to an auto auction, went to the auction, and I said, there's no way possible I'm going to find a car for $100. He said, trust me, we're going to walk out of here with a car. I ended up buying a 1983 Honda Accord for $60. So I took that car And back then we didn't have cell phones like we do today. So I had the old fashioned camera with the little floppy disk thing you put in the side, took a picture of it, posted it on eBay Motors that night, and it sold that night for $120. So I doubled my profit. At that time, the auto auction allowed you to keep the car there for 7 days before you had to take it off property. So I said, oh, I'm on to something now. I have a car lot that I don't even have to pay rent for. So I had 7 days to get somebody to come pick that car up. So that night I sold the car for 120, doubled my profits. I took that 120, went back to the auction, bought another car for about 100 and some change. It was still under the 120. I think it was a Mitsubishi Mirage. I sold that car for $300 the very next day. So now I took that money, came back, and I bought a Q45 for the same 300. Sold that for 600, and I just kept perpetuating the cycle. So I took that initial $60 that I bought the 100 Accord, and I ended up maybe 2 months later where I was now flipping Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Lexus with that same $60. So I never had to go into my pocket for additional money. I just kept reinvesting. So that's what Caden teaches kids, is to take your money and just keep reinvesting it, growing the money and reinvest it again. So you got to make money, you got to be able to duplicate money and know how to control that money without just squandering it. So that's one of the key things.
Man, and that's something everyone can do.
Mhm.
Everyone can. And I think that's just the power of entrepreneurship, and the reason why in our culture, in our community, those that thrive do incredibly well, because even limitation sometimes breeds creativity. You know, so you have to outthink your environment. And when you find ways to do that in the entrepreneurial realm, you're able to compound on initial situations or initial investments, even at a $60 level, to buy a car. But there was someone who had the thought process to say, you got 100, you can come up with a car. Someone had to think that, and then someone had to have the wherewithal to explore enough of their environment to find where you can purchase a resource, you know, and that's buying low, selling higher, and then you got a 2x return that you kept duplicating, you know, over and over and over again. So what would you say if there are 3 things that a parent can take away? We're looking at just this great relationship that you have with Caden. By the way, Caden, I know you're in entrepreneurship and I know you're doing well in school, but I heard that you are a karate specialist as well, man. Okay, that is what's up, man. I have to get a YouTube video of you, man, showing us a couple of roundhouse kicks, man. But you know, they don't have you breaking no boards yet, do they?
No.
Okay, I'm sure that'll come in due time. But how do you what would be your 3 tips to raising an entrepreneur in a family while allowing them to have a well-rounded life?
Mm-hmm. First thing I would say is exposure. Exposure is everything. You know, so often we always think that our kids have to, particularly again in our community, we think that our kids have to make it through holding a microphone or a ball in their hand. And we have to expose them to different opportunities. You got to let them know there's other professions, like we said, in the tech field. We have to let them know about biochemical research, let them know about different types of engineering, aerospace propulsion. It's just so many different things that we got to expose them to that yields huge incomes. That will be the first thing, is exposure. The second thing I'm going to say is the education and what type of education. So we have 3 types of education. You have what's called an academic or scholastic education. That's where we learn how to read, write, arithmetic. This is designed to teach us to become an employee, basically. And that's where we trade our time for dollars. Then you have what's called a professional education. Professional education is where we hone in on our skill set, where we kind of focus, like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a dentist, engineer, what have you. And we're a little bit more specialized, which tends to put us in a position where we can usually enter into our own practice or being self-employed. Here, we're still trading time for money, which oftentimes we spend a little bit more time, but we tend to make more money. But that's still on that kind of hamster wheel effect. Both of these are taught in the traditional school systems. But the third type of education that we're not taught in the school system is a financial education. That's what Caden does with his peers. That's what I do. We teach financial education because what this does, it teaches you the workings and the workability of money, of cash flow, understanding what wealth is and is not, understanding the difference between rich and wealth. It's two different things. Understanding the full circle of what wealth is. But this puts us in a position where now we start building business systems. This is a way where now our money works for us. We're like in Robert Kiyosaki's book, we're moving from the E and the S side of the quadrant to the E and the I. I mean, the I and the B, which is investor and business owner. And we got to understand the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. Business owner is system-driven, which means I can physically walk away from the business and we should still create revenue and cash flow. I remember I used to be in law enforcement, and that was my future. If something happened to my trigger finger or my physical ability to perform, my income would cease also. 98% of people fall in that realm where what we do to make money is based on our physical ability to perform. So we have to ask ourselves, if the X out factor occurred, we were X out of the equation, what just happened to our family financially? And this is a question we really have to ask ourselves, and we have to position ourselves for our immediate family and also our children and grandchildren. What happens if I'm no longer here? See, I write books. I'm on book number 33 now, but this is a catalog, just like the Beatles, just like Jackson 5. I have a catalog of products that when I'm no longer here, Caden can still sell those products. His grandkids, my grandkids, they can still sell these products. So that creates what's called intellectual property, which is another asset in the wheelhouse. So that's something that's super, super important. We got to make sure that we're giving our kids the proper education. I had a high school guidance counselor. That's one of my brands, a C student, a CEO. I was a C student. I just wanted to see my way out, never to return to school. My high school guidance counselor told me, she said, Sean, based on your grades, being a C student, the most you would amount to is be a warehouse worker. Now, not knocking a warehouse worker, but I knew more for myself than being a warehouse worker. Needless to say, today I'm not a warehouse worker. We run multiple companies. But again, what you put into a child's mind is critical. See, a little kid is a white canvas. It's just a blank canvas. Everything we say and do to kids is a swipe of the paintbrush on the canvas. So if I say, you're just like your dad, you're not going to amount to anything, well, that was a swipe. You're just no good. You're just a dummy. That's another swipe. But at the same time, if I'm saying, hey, Katie, you're a winner, man, the world is at your disposal. That's another swipe, but it's a positive swipe. So when we're putting all these word seeds into our kids, once they've turned between 3 and 5 is when they're going to really identify, get their self-identity. Well, at 5 years old, we should be able to step back from that canvas and see, do we have a Picasso or do we have a nightmare? And it's just based on what we've been implementing into the kids over that period of time. So, so that would be the second one, is the education. The education. First one is exposure, the second one is education. And then the third one is just real world application, as far as giving them the experience and exposure. You have to put them in positions, just like with Katie. When people ask, they'll say, oh, we're at an event, we're at the Chamber of Commerce. I take them everywhere. People would ask, well, how old is he? I'm like, he is right beside me. Ask him the question, well, how does this business work? Again, he is beside me. Ask him how his business works. So when you put them in an environment and thrusts them to be able to perform and explain what it is, then it makes them truly understand. So that it's not that it's like I'm just memorizing it. It's like, what is a dividend? Well, that is the money I get back from that. You want them to be able to encapsulate that whole thought process and to be able to come back and regurgitate it and know that they really understand the concept. So we can only do that when we kind of put them out there. So those are the things. Yeah.
I got those 3 tips for all of our moms and dads and parents that are building Cadence. It is that exposure, education, and experience. And that experience, as you mentioned, is so key. My mom has been an educator, and she used to always tell me that it's so important in our community, in our classes. You can't just show our kids uh, an elephant picture, or tell them about these animals. You got to take them to the zoo and see how big that elephant is, how tall them giraffes are, and allow them to touch these animals, as well as you're saying, touch these very what these experiences. Have a product. Caden, you have all these products, like you're able to see that. You have a website. You can see when that sale comes in. You might even have a cash app, so you get that cha-ching when that money comes through. So that makes a big difference, and things that we engage in often in our community, like sports, and it's because we can immediately have that experience, and we need to be able to duplicate to what you're doing, business in the same way. So this is a dynamic conversation. When I have special people like yourselves, I love to play like a quick word game. So, Hayden, are you down?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw something at you, and you just tell me what you think of when you think of that.
Oh.
Okay, Dr. Harris, you can go first. Your favorite entrepreneur outside of Dr. Harris, Miss Harris, and Caden.
I would say H.J. Russell, Herman J. Russell.
Wow. Okay.
He pretty much built the skyline of the city of Atlanta. He built one of the most successful, most profitable construction companies in the nation.
A legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, who you got for your favorite entrepreneur? Caden?
I would say my favorite entrepreneur is Eric Thomas, and because he speaks on financial literacy and how to build and how to become wealthy, pretty much.
He is a powerful motivational speaker. I co-sign that, Eric Thomas. Okay, awesome. You all are athletes as well. Who's your favorite athlete? Caden, you can take that one first.
I would say my favorite athlete is a wrestler named Cesaro.
Cesaro. What's his finishing move?
It's called the King of Swing, where he swings his opponent around the ring.
Does he throw them out of the ring?
No.
Okay, all right, man. That's a lot better than Hulk Hogan's leg drop when I was your age, man. So I'm gonna have to check that. That's cool. How about yourself, Dr. Harris? Favorite athlete?
My favorite one is the Queen of the Court, Serena Williams.
Serena, yes.
She is definitely a beast. And one thing I particularly like about her sport, I used to wrestle growing up, so I really enjoy individual sports, team sports, but individual. So it's like on a team sport, like wrestling, for example, I could win individually, but the team could have lost, or I could have lost and the team could have still won. So when you're in an individual sport, you really have to perform. And Serena, by domination, she dominates. Because we really want to equate what she does. She has the equivalency of 23 championship rings. And a lot of people don't really look at it that way, but in essence, she has 23 rings, as opposed to some of the basketball players who have 7, 8 rings, what have you. So that's just like total dominance to me.
It is. And it is such timely that you say that, because the movie that Will Smith produced, about Richard Williams and the Serena sisters, the sisters, Serena Venus, is coming out. And that is gonna, like, what you're doing, and the blueprint that you're creating. Richard Williams is one of the masters at putting together an incredible system of greatness for their child, and not letting go, because a lot of times people can tell us, oh, you're pushing your kid too hard, and why does he have to own all those businesses, and why does he have to do this and that? Like, why wouldn't he? Like, so that you are definitely cut from the Richard Williams cloth, so salute. I'll ask Dr. Harris first. What's the most amount of money you would like Caden to make in a year?
Can I change it to the least amount?
Oh, I think that's called I ain't gonna say reciprocal, but yeah, reversing it. So okay, go ahead.
Okay. The least amount I would like him making on a consistent basis is at least six figures.
Mm-hmm.
At least six figures a year at a minimum. And I would like for him to be able to scale it ultimately by 16. Based on the way we're forecasting his finances, we're expecting him to hit his first seven-figure a year between 13 and 14 years old.
People, did you all hear that? We're looking at, in the next 2 to 3 years, a millionaire before he reaches the age of 15. Mm-hmm. And there's a plan. This isn't just pie in the sky, wishful thinking. You are putting a plan and, like you said, systems in place.
And a part of that, Marcellus, a part of putting that system together is he also owns a capital investment firm also. So what we're doing is the money that he makes in his public business, if you will, we divert that money into his capital investment, and that's where his real estate portfolio is currently being built out right now. So that's another thing too for the parents. You have to, like you said, you can't just have pie in the sky wishful thinking. You have to actually have a blueprint. You have to have a game plan, and you have to work that game plan. You know, it's like so many times we say, "Oh, Jesus, take the wheel." Well, we're supposed to do some work too. You know, we can't just throw an idea out there. We have to be diligent in the process of being good stewards. Because so many times, you know, we ask for opportunity to come our way. Well, don't pray for opportunity, because it comes anyway. Pray for recognition of opportunity, because so many times opportunity is knocking at the door, but we're so busy trying to look through the peephole, asking who is it, sliding all the latches, opening the door, and when we open it, we realize, oh man, they already left. They're our next door neighbor. So when opportunity knocks, you just sling the door open and say, yes, opportunity, who is it? Because one thing about successful people, we don't have to know everything. We need to just know enough. And that's the thing that will get you over the top. Learn on the way down.
Those are some bars. When that door knocks, like swing it open. Yep. Swing like the wrestler you were talking about.
That's right.
No doubt. Wow. And what would be the amount of money you would like to make in a year, Kaden?
I would say the least amount would probably be around $100,000.
I love that. One, you all on the same page. So even though I shared a message, there's a certain way of thinking where you all have put a minimum. Like the sky's the limit. So I don't know what infinite number that is. I can go as high as I want. So there's no cap on that. But there is going to be a minimum. You know, I'm not getting less than an A in this class, you know, and I'm not making less than six figures, you know, $100,000. And that is amazing. So success is inevitable, especially when you put a plan together for it. So that is everything. If you could launch any new, and these are supposed to be light questions, but y'all take them and y'all are turning this into a whole other masterclass, which is incredible. But if you could launch any new tech invention, what would it be, Kaden?
I would say it would be a device to teleport, because you could use less time and go wherever you want.
What? And I'm talking about my physical body can teleport to Atlanta if I wanted to. We could go to South Africa if we wanted to. That type of teleport?
Yeah.
Please let me know when you start that company so I can invest. And please let me know when you have run the tests to teleport the first people. And I believe that you're going to do it, Kaden. I believe that you all have everything to do that if you choose. What would be the tech invention for you, Dr. Harris?
I think my tech invention would be something that would get all of the husbands out of the doghouse. So I would invent a razor that has a vacuum system that collects the hair fallings when we shave so we don't get hair in the sink. Because I hear everything. So that'll be my invention.
Man. You would get us out of the doghouse too, man.
That's right.
That and keep it going too. There's so many other doghouses we can get out of, but that's a great start. Cool. Best Halloween costume ever.
I would say it will be the Hulk for me because he has muscles.
And what color is the Hulk? I'm starting to pick up a pattern, man. What color is the Hulk?
Green.
Green. Okay, man. Some muscles there, but man, some money color all over it, man. Okay. How about yourself, Dr. Harris?
Mine was Batman back in the day. And I'm old school, so we had
Batman.
the old fashioned Halloween, the plastic suit, the plastic mask with the rubber band.
Yeah. Oh, we were
Yeah.
suffocating, man, in the
Yeah.
mask, trying to trick or treat, man. So, okay, the Hulk and Batman. That's good stuff. All right. There's two other questions. Business seminar or a wrestling or WrestleMania? You got Eric Thomas and some of the best speakers and entrepreneurs at a business seminar, or you got WrestleMania. Which one are you going to, Caden?
I would say that I would go to the business seminar because I can earn some money from the business seminar to where I can go to 10 WrestleManias.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Caden, you are the ultimate investor, the ultimate entrepreneur, man. Like if you all can see the genius in that answer, and you didn't go for the bait, you went for I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to invest my time and my energy into an opportunity or an event where I can learn so much that I can pay for 10 WrestleManias, maybe even buy the whole WWE enterprise. So, man, that's good. Dr. Harris, I guess with that question, I wouldn't even have to guess what your answer is because you've taught that answer in response to your son. Okay, business it is. And I asked you last question. Tell me, Caden, what's the most fun experience you've had with your dad? I know it's so many, but what comes to mind of them? Remember, you'll be telling your kids and grandkids about.
I would say a birthday trip I had with him where we went out to Phoenix, Arizona, and he surprised me with a wrestling trip. And I was able to see all of my favorite wrestlers there while spending time with my dad.
Oh, that's everything, man. Everything, man. To check it out, man. That's I know you're a big wrestling fan, so that's amazing. How about you, Dr. Harris? What comes to mind?
Oh, wow. If I can I give an answer down and going up? So for Caden, and I want to give you an answer about my dad. So
absolutely.
With Caden, the same thing, the wrestling trip. He yelled and screamed his head off the entire night. And it just brought me joy to see him just having so much fun. Because a lot of times people ask, well, does he still get to be a kid? Man, his office space is 2 computers, a 3D printer, and he's surrounded by WWE action figures. Matter of fact, he just unboxed a new action figure today. So trust me, this is the kid of all kids. A memorable time with my dad was fishing. We used to always go fishing on fishing trips. And I think that's so important for the daddy-son relationship. Caden is the 7th generation. He will be the 7th generation of daddies in the house in the Harris family. So we've always had the men in the family, and I think that's just critically important as far as being able to help build the structure of leadership and influence, to be able to have a child to have a roadmap to look at, to have a blueprint to say, hey, look, here's what dad did. At least it doesn't have to be what he did, but at least have the foundation, or like we said, the roadmap. So with Caden, I have a high bar to set to always show him a good example. And it's like my dad never said, Sean, this is how you be a good husband. My mom and dad married 52 years. And he never had to say, this is how you be a good husband. This is how you be a good dad. This is how you do this. Dad didn't just pinpoint, show me stuff. He just led by an example. So I could always see, oh, that's how you treat your wife. This is how you treat the kid. So that's the same thing with Caden. He just sees, okay, dad opened the door for my mom and my sister. He operated this way. He puts them on the inside when they're walking down the street or things like that. So I think that's like critically important is to have that foundation intact as much as possible.
Wow. That is everything. This has been an incredible Boundless Brothers experience with an amazing father and son, two incredible CEOs, and we have just a 2 minutes left. So I want you all to share how we can follow you online and what you have going on and how we can continue to support and be customers in this incredible family business empire. And I see in the back, I see Reginald Lewis and Watching White Guys Have All the Fun. He was the first African American to own $1 billion value company. And Caden, I have no doubt that you too will be owning $1 billion enterprise, and I'll be seeing your face on a Forbes magazine much sooner than later. So tell us how we can follow you and how we can buy your incredible products and stay on top of this Caden Teaches pop-up financial literacy tour that I'm sure will be coming soon.
You can follow me on my Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all at Caden Teaches. And you can go to my website, cadenteaches.com. And some of my new projects that I've been working on is my bus project, of course, my animated short film that I'm coming out with, my puzzle, and a parenting course.
You are the ultimate serial entrepreneur, Caden. Man, that is amazing. That is everything. And how can we follow you, Dr. Harris?
Yeah, so I can be found on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, all under Sean J. Harris, or either Sean J. Harris Speaks. My website is seanjharris.com. That's SEAN, the letter J, Harris.com.
Boundless brothers, boundless fathers, boundless CEO sons, and billionaires in the making. Raising your child to become a Black CEO, millionaire / billionaire. Thank you, Dr. Harris, Caden, so much. Y'all are phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You as well.
Goodbye.